Good morning, everyone. Good to see you out there. It's a glorious day. We see the sun shining a bit. Will has just returned from Korea, and he flew in, and we met in Pasco, Washington, which is on the eastern slope down there in the states of Washington, on Thursday, and we went right into one of our gender equity and reconciliation workshops with a group of people. And so this man has not had any vacation or holiday in like 2 weeks at least. So, and just for those that don't know, when we were invited to come and do the ministry here at Unity, it was to bring our global ministry and start bringing that forward. So I just want to share a little bit before the meditation, or maybe as part of our meditation, about that. Because out on our sign, if you've noticed, there's 3 or 4 different aspects of what we're bringing here. And one of them is spiritual activism. What are we doing out in the world, in our lives, that we're also bringing into this sacred space and this sacred community? And so over time, more and more of that will get integrated into our lives here at Unity, of what is out there. So what happened in this workshop over the past 3 days was a group of people who identify as male and female, and there's a whole gender spectrum out there, as we know. But this group did identify in that way, brought their stories of truth around the violations, the pain and suffering, and the challenges that they had around gender. And it was so beautiful. Every time we do these trainings, it's so beautiful to watch the transformation that happens in a matter of just 3 days. And so just to be able to bring it forward, to share what's on your heart, and to be able to hold that, the whole group holding that in love, holding that with compassion, and hearing the truth, and then speaking about the ways that we too have maybe violated or perpetrated these things without even our awareness, or been violated or perpetrated upon. So one of the, just real briefly, one of the pieces was one young woman who talked about a situation in the workplace that had happened. And I won't go into the details, but she talked about the pain of the betrayal from her male boss that had happened in his, in the ways that she was treated as a female. She happened to be Latina as well, so there was a race and culture piece there as well that came forward. And she shared her story in front of the men and the women. And after that, she said, just being able to share that story in front of the men who had not done this to her was so healing, because a group of men just holding her in silent witness so she could share had the healing balm, if you will, the healing component that broke her heart open and brought her to another place. And then at the end of our program, we always come into an honoring, and the men create an honoring ceremony for the women and the women for the men. And then this weekend, just yesterday, Will and I just flew in last night, around 10:30 last night. So just yesterday, the men created this ceremony, and they built this out of Kleenex boxes, which I thought was really appropriate. When I first saw it, we walked in as women, and they sat us down, and I saw these Kleenex boxes. I thought, oh my gosh, what are we going to do here? Are we going to be crying? But they had Kleenex boxes, and they started building a wall. And on each Kleenex box was some part of the patriarchy, like sexism, misogynistic ways, mansplaining was up there a couple times. What were some of the other ones? Objectification, sexual harassment, all these, which can go both ways. It goes both ways across all genders, cultures everything. So it's not just one. Not all men are doing this, by the way. Not all women are doing this. It just happens because it's systematic in our cultures, right? In our ways. Systematic oppression. So they built this wall with all these labels up there, and then the men made a declaration that they were there to break this down, to tear this down. And they did. They brought us forward, and they honored us each individually for what we had shared and what we had been able to bring forward in our truth. And then they broke that. They just took each side of this big wall of Kleenex boxes, and they just wiped it clean. And it was very, very powerful. And then the women also did a beautiful honoring ceremony of rebirthing the men into a new place of being, because the men had brought forth their pain and suffering as men, growing up being told to not cry, to be tough, to not show their emotion, these sorts of things. It was so beautiful. And so one of the things that we do in our program is to bring different practices of how we move out in the world. And so when I'm introducing this, only to say in our meditation today, I'd like to share one of the ways we do that. And so we sing this song, and some of you have done this program here at Unity with us, the Gender Equity and Reconciliation, and so you might recognize this song, because we sang it here at Unity in our program here. And I invite you to sing with me. And we'll just do a few rounds of this, and then we'll move into some silence and just hold that the song in our hearts. And the song is, when I breathe in God. When I breathe out love. When I breathe in God. When I breathe out love. When I breathe in God. When I breathe out peace. When I breathe in God. When I breathe out peace. When I breathe in God. Faith. When I breathe out faith. When I breathe in God. When I breathe out faith. When I breathe in God. Joy. When I breathe out joy. When I breathe in God. When I breathe out joy. When I breathe in truth. When I breathe out truth. When I breathe in God. When I breathe out truth. When I breathe in God. Love. When I breathe out love. When I breathe in God. When I breathe out love. And just taking that in, our breath. And I invite you to close your eyes, and let's have some time of silence just to breathe in Breathe in God in whatever way that God comes into your heart, into your life. And as you breathe in God, breathe out. Breathe out whatever is true for you. And we'll be in silence for a few moments while we just breathe together. So just breathing in as you go through your week today, this week, today and the week. Just breathing in God, breathing out whatever uplifting truths are for you, that hold you, that support you. Breathing in God every moment and knowing that God is breathing with us.
you.